changing pace now. It's time for business. Will Hildebrandt joins me. Last week we saw taxi drivers striking here in the French capital. This week it's Uber drivers.
Yeah, and Thursday they staged their second protest. Later on today it will be their third. Clashes occurred between traditional taxi drivers and ride-hailing companies like Uber, which are called VTC services here in France. They're calling for a funeral march for their jobs. It's in response to the government's decision to crack down on ride-hailing apps. Now, traditional taxi services say the new breed of firms are circumventing laws and fees that they were subject to. But Uber and other companies say the industry has changed and they have to adapt.
New technology affects everyone, so we have to adapt to it. We need to look at what the clients want, at new behaviors and new ways of ordering things, new ways of consuming, including transport, which is already digitized. Outside of the digital world, we cannot exist.
Well, staying here in France, a different kind of strike also took place on Thursday. Protest in support of workers who kidnapped their boss. Tell us more.
Yeah. Now, these so-called boss snappings happen from time to time here in France, and a group of employees from Goodyear Tires held their boss hostage for more than 24 hours. Union members went on strike in Paris this Thursday to jail the protest of jail sentences handed down to those 8 former employees who were found guilty of boss snapping. Diptyque Laurent has the story.
Chanting, "Let our colleagues off," more than 1,000 union members gathered in Paris's Place de la Nation, a solidarity protest for 8 jailed colleagues. In January 2014, workers at the Goodyear tire plant in northern France went on strike after the company decided to close its factory. 8 workers then kidnapped 2 executives and held them hostage for 30 hours.
Vous allez rester là une paire de jours, je peux vous le dire.
Last month, a French court sentenced them to 9 months in jail and a further 15 months suspended sentence in what was an unprecedented ruling for a labor dispute.
We were all fired. We all lost our jobs. We're having a hard time finding other jobs in these economic times. We want to turn the page without the added weight of 8 employees going to jail.
5 of the 8 men charged were members of France's powerful CGT trade union, including Michael Waman, one of the leaders of the Goodyear protests.
I've been sentenced, but really, I've been sentenced to act. I think everyone here feels that way, that we need to change things for ourselves and for our children.
Thousands of people have signed a petition asking the government to quash the prison sentences. The court's decision could set a precedent for future cases, however, notably the forthcoming trial of Air France union members for their alleged involvement in a protest last year in which the company's HR boss had his shirt ripped off.
All right, well, so the last day of the week, how's trading going in Asia?
Well, we see that the Nikkei is set for a 5-day losing streak. This because the dollar is really weakening, so that's making it hard for Japanese exporters. There you can see the Nikkei down 1.32%. The Shanghai Composite also down. Meanwhile, the Hang Seng and the Kospi each around flat to trading mildly above. Well, let's take a look now at some company results. And Europe's biggest bank missed analyst estimates. BNP Paribas reported quarterly profits of 665 million. That's down more than 50% from the same period last year. The bank has pledged 1 billion euros of cost savings by 2019. Low oil prices continue to drag on heavyweights. ConocoPhillips became the first major U.S. oil company to cut its dividend, slashing it by 2/3 from 74 to 25 cents per share. The move comes as the company reported a net loss of $3.5 billion last quarter. And LinkedIn shares plunged 26%. This after the company projected quarterly profits far lower than what analysts expected. LinkedIn will take a $50 million hit in sales as it phases out one of its newer advertising services. And the professional networking site has been spending heavily to expand outside of the U.S.
All right, well, this weekend is the Super Bowl for people who are fans. It's the championship of American football. Millions of people are expected to make big bucks for advertisers.
That's right. Will you be watching?
Maybe.
Okay, well, this is why it is such big money. Now, 50 years ago, during the very first Super Bowl, a 30-second TV ad sold for $42,000. This year, it will cost $4.8 million. Why? Because over 100 million people in the U.S. alone will be watching the game. So celebrity fees, there you can see Steven Tyler, an ad that will run Sunday. Production costs and the cost of airtime have all grown exponentially, and advertisers are wanting to make a splash. That makes not just the sport, but the ads themselves part of the spectacle.
I think a lot more people these days are really watching it for the commercials, which is exciting and great, given that there's not a whole lot of places in TV where people want to watch commercials. You know, you see people binge watching TV shows going on Netflix where there are no ads. So for people to actually come and want to watch ads, I think it's really, really rare right now. So that's really exciting.
You prefer Willem Dafoe or Marilyn Monroe in that dress?
I'm not quite sure. Both look pretty good. With 100 million people watching, I don't want to be the odd one out. I will definitely tune in, Will. Thanks very much for the Business Roundup.